show. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. After a long, arduous offseason, Notre Dame football is finally back. We have actual camp football to talk about, edition of the Always Irish Show. As always, thanks for being here. You can find a program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Johnny out as well. Notifications on that way. You will learn it every time a new episode drops. I don't want you to miss nothing. Twitter, search bar Always Irish, or at Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it. The call-in lines. You know what it is. 312-988-15. Dial it up. Tell Cousin Johnny all you've heard and seen. Patreon.com/Always Irish. Former captain, leading tackler Mike Goolsby, and myself breaking it all down. Oh, we got some new features in store. We're gonna have an exciting year over there. Thanks for everybody that's there already. All right. It's about time. It's about time. It has been a grind all through, the long off season and all these questions. What if this? What if that? What are we going to do here? What are we going to do there? All the recruiting. Oh, we feel great about it. Then we don't feel so good about it. It's all come to a head now. Camp's about to start. So this is very, very simple. I'm just going to go over the 5 things that are top of my mind as we're getting into camp and getting it started. These are just not super in-depth, nothing to rack your brain over, nothing, just the top 5 things that are in my mind, top of mind, as we're getting this all going that I think you guys should be thinking about too. And what I want you to do is let me know in the comments or whatever if there's things you disagree with or other things I don't have on the list that you want to look at or whatever. But these are the top 5. Not the only 5, just the top 5. And they're really not in any specific order. They're just the 5 that went into my brain. Okay? Notre Dame's got a lot of work to do and not a lot of time to do it before we go to A&M and all of that environment and everything that's going to be. There's a lot of damn work to do. So let's get into this. Number 1, who's healthy? Who's healthy? I have been fooled many times before, many years before, of Notre Dame coaches in the offseason saying, oh, yeah, we expect that guy to be back for camp. The rehab's going good. We expect him to be good, blah, 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 blah. And then we get into camp and the guy's not playing. And then you get into the season and it takes a month before the guy's out there. I believe it only when I see it. I believe it only when I see it. So I need to know who's healthy. Now, we've seen Leonard at the Manning Passing Academy, and then he was thrown in Alabama with the guys or whatever. I feel really confident that one's in a good spot. Morrison and Evans, I'll believe it when I see it. I can hear you already. Oh, Freeman said Evans is running around. I'm just saying I'll believe it when I see it on the damn field. So back off. This is not a shot at Freeman. I'm just saying I'm surprised how much fans just believe everything the media and a coach tells you. Believe it when you see it with your own eyes and not a second before. Many times this Notre Dame thing has been, oh, we expect the guy to be back or whatever. And it ain't. Believe it only when you see it with your own 2 eyes, okay? Don't believe any coach, not only Notre Dame's, any coach or the media. Believe it when you see it. But I got news for you. Leonard, Morrison, Evans, you're talking about 3 of the most important players on this team. And I got other news for you. You're not going to play Navy week 1 or Northern Illinois or Central, Southern, South Bend State. You're going to Texas A&M and they got athletes. You need all hands on board. So I want to know where this health is at. Spare me. I'm sick of it already. Spare me in the comments. John, weren't you paying attention? The coach and the media said these guys will be fine. Yeah, that's great. I'll believe it when I see it. Number 2, offensive line. Offensive line. We're not going to go down the O-line U thing, and then I yell and I say, I don't understand how you could be O-line U when in every big game you're not winning the game because of the O-line, but you're mashing Navy. You're gashing Central Michigan in the run game. Not interested. Needed to be against A&M. Needed to be against Georgia's. Needed to be against Ohio State. Like, I need you to be that then. Not against middle and lower tier teams. That's not my bar. But we're not even going there. Do you go with less talent but more experience into A&M on this offensive line with the spots you have left, figuring out your tackles, whatever you're doing? Or do you go with less experience, in some cases almost none or none, but way more physical gifts and talent? That's a big Rudolph the Red-Nosed offensive line coach. This is a big thing you're going to have to figure out early in camp. Do you go with more experience but less talent into A&M, or do you roll the dice on more talent, less experience? A&M, the issue is, I believe the strength of A&M's team is that defensive front. And my biggest question mark for that game is our offensive line. So you have a big mismatch right there. In my mind, you got to get it right. And there's no leeway, no margin for error. There is just no margin for error. You got to get it right. So I want to know how frisky Notre Dame staff's going to be. Do you roll the dice and go, a part of me, this is a big Goolsby thing too. He's like, John, explain to me what good having a guy with a lot of experience going to A&M is. He has a lot of experience, but he's not physically gifted enough to do the job against A&M's athletes. What good does the experience do you then? As compared to a younger guy that doesn't have the experience, but athletically he could better match up with their talent on the edge. So this is a big thing. They got to figure it out. And it could change throughout the course of the year, whatever you could change or whatever you got it. But you got to be good enough week one to not get the quarterback murdered and be able to win that game. So here's how you're going to look at this in camp. The more weeks we get into camp and they're still moving guys around, trying things out, and you hear the reporters say that this day, this guy was over here, and then that guy was over here, and then this guy was over at tackle, and then they moved this guy to guard, and then this, that. The more weeks we get into camp and they're playing that rotating chair game, red flag, red flag, red flag, that means they don't like what they see and they got no answers. That's how you measure this as a fan. The deeper into camp you hear that they're still trying different combinations, it's more of a red flag. It means they're not comfortable with what they see. That's how you gauge it. But that is the big question. Less experience, but more raw talent and athleticism versus more experience, but less athleticism. What are you going to do? Could determine the outcome of game one, and that's a big deal. You got to get it right. Zero margin for error. I'll say it again for the 50th time this summer. I certainly don't expect the offensive line to be a fully formed, perfectly smooth, functioning line like the Michigan line was at the end of the year last year, where everybody worked in symphony like a ballet and they were mashing people. I give them credit for that. I hate those people, but I'm jealous of what they had going at offensive line last year. It doesn't have to be that, and no one should expect it to be that week one. It just needs to be good enough to get a win. And keep Riley Leonard in one piece. That's what it has to be good. And then you could take a breather and figure things out and gel from there. No one expects perfection. It's got to be good enough to keep Riley in one piece and win the game. And then we grow from there. Okay? That's the deal with the O-line. But the longer you hear, oh, we're still messing with guys, trying different line, a red flag means they don't have answers they like. Number 3, Riley Leonard and the new offense. He's got to make up for lost time because of that stupid plate that fell out of his ankle in spring. He got a plate that fell out of his ankle. I'm going to have a plate put into my head if this is an ongoing problem. He's got to make up for lost time fast. How quickly can this offense put it all together with Denbrock's plan, with the wide receiver room and all of that, and Riley Leonard? What is it going to look like here? I'm blending this all into this bullet point. The new Denbrock vision, Riley Leonard fitting into it, and those wide receivers. Tight ends and running backs, I expect to be okay. We covered the offensive line. This is my focus. You don't have a lot of time, folks. And you cannot look like a discombobulated mess in Texas A&M. You're going to lose and ruin everything right out of the gate. And I got news for you. I'm not here for that. This is year 3. I'm not here for that. Again, similar to offensive line. Doesn't have to be a piece of art. Doesn't have to be perfect. Got to be good enough to win week 1. Then you have a breather to figure it out from there. What does that all look like out of the gate? You don't have a lot of time to figure it out. Also, on this Riley Leonard point, spare me. There is no competition for the starting quarterback. There is none of that. The competition's for the backup role. Save your breath. Don't write the comment. You don't pay Riley Leonard over $1 million to be in a battle with Steve Angeli, everybody. Wake up. Grow up and wake up to the real world. Okay? Spare me the comment. Oh, my God, I wonder if Angeli could beat out Leonard. It ain't happening. If Leonard's in one piece, he's the starter. You don't pay the guy over $1 million to lose the battle to Steve Angeli. You may not like that, but no one cares what you like. That ain't what it's about. Oh, John, what about the real competition and old school? Whoever, yeah, I get all that, and I like it too. Do you want to live in a dream world or reality? The reality is you don't pay the guy that money to ride the bench and have a competition. If Freeman says there is one, he's just saying it to get everybody to try hard. If Riley Leonard's in one piece, he's the guy. Save the comment. Not interested. Wake up. Wake up. I'm not telling you got to like this. I'm not telling you I like it. I'm not telling you this is the best way to do it. I'm just telling you the reality of the modern game, people. You don't have to love it. Deal with the realities, and that's the reality. There is no competition for starter. It's for backup. Number 4. This gets really, really interesting. The Notre Dame defense has been the backbone of the program for so long. The Notre Dame defense has been the only reason that this program has been semi-relevant or decent at all. Because the offenses have been yawn fests. Even the better Notre Dame offenses the last 10 years have been yawn fests compared to what else is out there. The defense has been the backbone and the spine of the entire program. And while my hope is eventually Denbrock gets the offense to a point where they can hold their own and you feel good about that, initially, going into A&M, that defense, they're going to have to carry the day. You cannot expect that Denbrock offense to go into A&M and be humming along perfect. It's a whole new offense. The wide receiver thing is a big question mark. The quarterback's a big question mark. Who the hell's going to block for these guys on O-line? You got a lot to figure out in a hostile environment. The defense, on the other hand, year 3, Al Golden, you were really good last year. How do you go from really damn good to elite? You're going to need that week 1. More pressure. How about this? You're looking at how can a defense that was really, really good get even better, and that's a very tough bar, right? There's way more room for the Notre Dame offense to take big jumps forward. The defense has been really damn good. You're getting nitpicky when you look at where they can improve because they're already really, really good. More big plays when you need them the most against the best teams you play. That's one area this defense could get better is making some huge plays against the better competition. Strip, sack, scoop and score. pick sixes, whatever it is, a bunch of 3-and-outs, tackles for a loss. We need more of all that against the better teams we play, because the defense could just play decent and beat 10 teams on this schedule. I need them to ramp it up with those big splash plays against Florida State, against A&M, against USC. That's the next step. Those guys making those flash plays against those teams. Okay? Here's the other thing with the defense. I'm looking at these personnel sub packages. I'm looking at the nuts and bolts, and the foundation of the defense is so strong. I want to see these extras. Where is the role for Snead to shine? I want to see Traore and Anya. What does that look like? Is this a year where Botelho becomes more than just a dream? We hope he's a dominant player. Where did those guys fit into this to really be able to get the most out of the defense and take it to the next level? That's what I want to see. Number 5, Marcus Freeman. He needs to become a much better in-season, in-game coach. I like the personality stuff. I like the energy. Steward of the university, good talker, all of it. I need him to turn the corner in year 3 on the field and in this season. Not just on the field, but in this season as a coach. Okay? He met with the media after spring, all gathering a local media. It was kind of weird. It wasn't a big presser, but a local thing with some of the beat guys that have been around a long time. And he was saying, we know what we're going into in A&M. We know the crowd. We know the heat. We're going to be ready, blah, 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 blah. You better be. This team better be ready for that moment. I have zero patience for false starts, and we don't know the snap count, and we got guys coming out of their break early and miscommunication, and we got, timeout. We're not all on the same page. Oh, we're snapping the ball. Oh, false start, whatever. Okay. No. I have zero tolerance for that. No more timing mistakes. No more Marcus 10-man. No more slow road starts. The leeway's gone, Marcus. All that new, shiny, we like it. Okay, we get that. Now you need to prove that you're an on-the-field, in-the-season coach. That's the next step. And I realize you got to ease into camp. You can't just go nuts right away. I want that battle mentality. I realize you can't do that right away. Do you see an A&M push? Loud music, pumped in crowd noise, humidity, move the guys indoors, no fans, no AC, get the humidity up. Do you see that at some point in camp? If not, fine. But you better be ready to play against A&M then. If you don't do the things I'm saying, pump in that crowd music, get in that humidity in the indoor facility with no fan, no AC to prepare for it. If you don't do that, and then you get into A&M and you look confused and lost and overwhelmed by the sound, and you're jumping off sides and the snap counts off, and we're all running around and it's too overwhelming and we don't know what to do, that is an unforgivable sin, because you are in complete control to prepare for that environment. And if you chose not to, that is your fault. This is not week 4 and you got to worry about 3 other games, and then you only really have a few days of practice to get ready for A&M and all that. That's different. This ain't that. This ain't that. You have a month to prepare for everything coming with this. If you choose to go the easy way in camp and then show up against A&M not ready, that is an unforgivable sin, because it was totally in your control to prepare for the environment and you chose not to. That cannot happen. This whole not ready to play on the road takes us a quarter and a half to wake up. That's got to be over and done. Cannot happen. So This is the year, Marcus. It's year 3. You need to go from promoter, flashy dresser, get the energy up, get the donations in, wheeling and deal. I love all that. Now you need to show you're a better coach in the season on the field. I need it. There is no more leeway with that. You got to have these guys ready. And if you are not ready for A&M, it is your fault. It is 100% your fault. You have every opportunity to prepare these guys for the weather and the noise. I do not want to see any struggling with either one of those two because you can't prepare for it if you decide to. If you take the easy way out in camp and it backfires, that is your choice, your failure. And I ain't here for it. You got to be ready. No excuses. 0. What do you guys think?